Well, here we are, everybody. What a Friday night main event. New B2B. Can you believe it? Feels like it's been a lifetime since we've gotten new music. So, of course, we're going to do it. Of course, we are. Let's check out to see what they've actually been cooking here. I have great confidence and I have great expectations. Let's check it. Now, I do know there's a couple. Is there one or two members missing? I forget. But, yeah. Okay.
어느새 차가워진 공기 눈물은 얼었고 그대가 없는 시린 거리에 멈춰서 있네요. 바람이 아파 사무치게 불어와 텅 빈 가슴에 홀로 남은 이곳에 나 흔들리네요. 슬픔에 젖어도 꺼지지 않아 여전히 내 자신은 살아있어요. 짙은 연기로 가득 덮인 채 그대의 숨결을 내게 물어줘요. 그대만이 나를 태울 수 있어요. 다시 타오를 수 있게 뜨겁게 나를 안아줘요. 식어버린 내 가슴에 남은 온기가 제가 되어 흩날리지 않게 다 머물러줘요. 내 품에 꺼져가는 나를 태워줘. 그대 Yeah, rekindling the flame is what I wanna do, but I can't do it without you. By myself I'm just gasoline. You're the spark I need to light the fire up again. 그대의 숨결을 내게 불어줘요. 그대만이 나를 태울 수 있어요. 타오를 수 있게 oh 날 뜨겁게 나를 안아줘요. 식어버린 내 가슴에 남은 온기가 제가 되어 흩날리지 않게 다 머물러줘요. 내 품에 꺼져가는 나를 태워줘. 내 심장을 다 태워버린 너란 불꽃 다 타버리고 남은 건 선명한 흉터 고장나버린 내 머릿속 너는 갇혔지. Start up the fire, don't let it die out. Feeding my fuel for it's too late. 난 영원히 내 품에 남아. 뜨겁게 나를 안아줘요. 식어버린 내 가슴에 남은 온기가 제가 되어 흩날리지 않게 계속 머물러줘요. 내 품에 꺼져가는 나를 태워줘. 그대 다시 사랑을 피워요.
Oh. What an abrupt ending. But let's address a few things that I think is going on here personally. First and foremost, the most important thing that I think has to be understood as artists like B2B who are extremely musically accomplished, I find it interesting that this is what they decided to go with. Not because I think it's bad, quite the opposite. Because it is I think it's a sign of age. Now, I'm not calling them old. But there comes a time, I feel like, especially I mean, because I feel like I've gone through this too, and I've explained this. Like, of course, I still listen to things like Cannibal Corpse and all the crazy stuff, but, and I've explained this, I have really mellowed out. Not even because of K-pop. And I know that a lot maybe thought of like, oh, well, now you got into K-pop. Now all you're listening to is K-pop. Well, that's not exactly true. Um, I've explained how I kind of hit an emotional point where I realized that metal music was not fulfilling. That is when I started to go to things that were, I would say, a little bit more, I'd say, grounded and in reality a little bit. And the interesting thing is, if I'm being real, their music has never been something that I feel like would have an emotional plateau. But I think what is important to understand here is the idea that this, to me, they kind of went back to simplicity. And I think that that's one thing that's kind of interesting, because when we listen to their ballads and their music that they have put out in the past, it is otherwise, regardless of it being a ballad, sometimes it's pretty over the top. I think it's fair to say there's a lot of runs, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of highs, and this one is tuckered in, made simple. And again, I like to say this word, made with more analog sounding instruments. This is a little bluesy. It is a seemingly kind of a mature take for me. And I'm not saying that they were ever immature, but this is just different. This is a little bit more like an understanding of where you're at in life, if that makes sense. Let's go over the chorus for just a second. Yeah, oh no. And I find this kind of interesting because, in a sense, I feel like that this song is one thing that's really kind of not something that you see so much in music. And what I kind of like about this a little bit, this feels a little more conversational. I think there has come a point in time in music where everything we're writing is kind of like an Avengers level threat kind of thing, right? And so for this, I really like the fact that it's just one long conversational piece and kind of a feeling of what you're going through. But I really like this kind of 70s bluesy feel to it. I really do. I think it's really cool. The nice thing is there's still some of that ballad identity that we've always known for Btob for having, right? And again, I think one of the reasons why this is so important in terms of songwriting for me personally, and I mean, obviously you can feel differently. That is totally, you're fine if that's your prerogative. But, and I've explained this before, I think it's cool that we have found out things like a chemical reaction or like a neurological reaction to things like undertone, where the song itself actually has a whole other melody that's slipped in underneath the entire song in the mix to keep and kind of trick your brain to make it feel like that it's liking what it's hearing. And I'm not saying that the songs that do that are bad, but in a sense it's kind of a way to keep your attention span locked on something. It's kind of an interesting little scientific fact that obviously we have a really interesting way on how the brain reacts to music. So to kind of double up on that science and start inserting undertones creates, I feel like, an unnecessary lack of what could be depth. And that's what this song actually really does for me, is that when I listen to this song, my first thought is everything's analog. It's drums, it's bass, it's guitar, it's piano, it's everything that is playable. And, obviously, I kind of feel like, I'll get to that in just a second. I feel like that's what really helps out this song. It really gives it that depth that I feel like that you do miss from a lot of modern music theory music. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I think this is a little bit of a bit of a nod or a wink to Ilhun. I do. I think that not the only reason, but the reason why that they did this is a nod to Ilhun. I do. I really think that that's why they did that. I think there is a small nod to Ilhun in here. I do. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this, and I've rambled on for way too long. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.